So the story that I thought of telling today involves a trip that I took with students when I was working at Hong Kong International School. I worked with an organization called Habitat for Humanity, which builds homes for people in low-income areas, and we were assigned to a community in Bangkok, Thailand. So I took a group of students, some who were from Hong Kong, some who were American, and a number of other nationalities represented. So this international group from Hong Kong, we all went to Thailand, and we're planning to build a house. I had done this the year before, and it's just a great trip. Thailand is a beautiful country. It's got amazing food, and students really like this trip. So I was kind of expecting it to be really fun and easy. The day that we arrived in Thailand, I want to say this was November 2008, maybe 2007. The day that we arrived, the Thai military took over the government, which I think happened fairly frequently in Thailand at the time. So there was a coup that day, and we touched down just as the airport itself was being taken over by the military. So we heard this after the fact. You would never have known. All of these military coups in Thailand apparently were very peaceful. We left the airport, went to our hostel, kids are having fun, and I sort of get wind of this as the group leader that the government is shutting down travel in and out of Thailand. So I've never been in a military coup before. I have no idea what this means. And I start asking around the hostel and saying, how long will they shut this down? And how long will the airport be shut down? And this very nice German man who was staying at the hostel said, this kind of thing is very routine. It happens all the time. It'll be quick. You'll be in and out a couple of months. So I've got 25 students with me, high school students. And I'm now thinking that our 4-day trip might extend to a 2-month trip, where we literally can't leave the country. And I'm totally gobsmacked by this. I have no idea what to do, and it's all on my shoulders. So I called the head of our school, and she said, we'll do what we can on our end, but there's really nothing to be done. If the government of a country is saying this, you can't really argue with that. So we spend the next few days, I spend the next few days kind of putting on a brave face and doing what I can to pretend that everything's fine. Every student at a point, they all know what's going on. They're very international students generally, I find very, very savvy, very plugged in. And so they all know that we're stuck. They all know that the government is in upheaval. And because I'm trying not to make a big deal about this, I'm not making any official announcements. I'm just saying we're doing what we can to deal with this. So every student is asking me just like once or twice what's going on. So for them, it's just a polite question. For me, it's 25, 50 questions a day that I have to address, pretend that I'm feeling no stress about, and meanwhile try to, behind the scenes, orchestrate an exit from a country that's topsy-turvy, and build this house. So we're laying cement, we're sledgehammering old concrete, carrying these heavy bags back and forth, which is sort of a relief in a way, because I got to kind of focus on something other than the fact that I now have 25 children in my charge, and I have no idea what to do. But basically, I'm sitting here unsure of if I'm going to be able to leave. I have this life that I want to get back to. And over the course of a few days, we learned that some of the parents of the students that I'm with are also doing their part. So it's not just the school administration that's trying to help us. It's also parents, some of whom are highly influential people. One of whom was, and these are government officials, ambassadors to various countries, some very high-ranking people in international finance, people of influence, one of whom turned out to be wonderfully influential. It was a person who was very high up. I think it was the airline Cathay Pacific. And they figured out a loophole in this travel ban, or this travel moratorium. It wasn't even a ban, I don't think, is what they called it, where military flights could go in and out of the country in a way that commercial flights could not. So we chartered a military plane and rode a bus, this kind of unmarked. It didn't look like it was part of the military, but I think it was a bus owned by the maybe Thai military, maybe United States military, maybe Chinese military. I didn't ask questions at this point. But we ride this bus to kind of like the backside of the Bangkok airport, or it may have been a military airport. Again, all I wanted to do was leave at this point. This is 3 or 4 days in, and we get on this this plane, me and 25 students and the other handful of chaperones, and I just remember this feeling of profound terror as we're getting on this plane, wondering, one, is this legal? Are we gonna like upset the king of Thailand? Are we gonna upset the military leader of Thailand? And if so, what are they gonna do to our plane? This is 2007, 2008. In my mind, very the memory of 9/11 and all these things very recent in my head. I'm horrified, but I remember this very distinct feeling of the wheels going up as we're leaving and thinking we're free, we're out. And we made it. We got back to Hong Kong, and I've never been so happy to have a student trip end.
Okay. Have you ever gone back to Thailand since then?
I have. So I traveled, living in Hong Kong, Bangkok and Thailand were kind of jumping off points. I think it might have been after that trip that I went with my older brother. He came to visit me my last year in Hong Kong, which was 2009. And we didn't stay in Bangkok very long. We sort of, that's kind of like the hub. And we went to Koh Samui maybe, or Koh Chang, maybe Koh Phi Phi, one of these nice islands. And that unfortunately, that trip was complicated by the tsunami that happened, I guess 2008. We were on an island that had I don't remember the numbers, but it was something like half of the beachfront was gone because of the tsunami. So it was a nice trip, but I started to get the feeling that maybe I should pick other places to visit at that point.